Welcome back to the Fermented Homestead. My name is Anna, and I am bringing you along for an evening out after work and to show you what I'm up to. It is the continuation of, Carnivember. And so we are making some bone broth, and we are going to finish up some of the ground beef. I need to do one more load in the canner, and I have about 9 pounds left that I need to do before it goes bad. And it's bone broth, and I'm going to try and also get some chicken broth going on. So I'm going to bring you along and show you everything I'm doing. So the first part, I can't even see my head. I have the oven preheating right now, and we're just going to unpackage these soup bones into the dish. You'll have to excuse the weird angles in the video today. My tripod broke and I haven't gotten a new one yet, so bear with me. This is about the simplest thing you can imagine. You just unwrap it, throw it in a pan, and stick it in the oven and cook it. That's it. And try not to get meat juice everywhere. So here is the beautiful soup bones that we're going to throw in the oven. I just forgot that I had a bunch of cast iron in there. And this one too. Now we're going to get started on the ground beef and get a canner load of that going. I take that back. Now I'm going to put the chicken into the oven and get ready for canning chicken this weekend, as well as making some bone broth, some chicken bone broth as well. So I'll bring you along and throw those in the oven, and then we'll get started on canning the beef. So now the time has come, and we are going to finally get these ground beef cooking. So one little neat trick that I figured out a while ago to get my pressure canner, both of them, to the right amount of water in them, is that I just counted how many pint jar or quart jars that I poured in there to get up to the line, and so I don't have to measure it every time. On the Presto canner, this one has like an indented line, and that's it. And it's really hard to find after the first couple times that you do it. You have to kind of just search for it with your fingernails. And then with the All-American, there is no line, but you have to measure it. And so I just measured it once and remembered how many of the quart jars I had to put in there. So, little side note. Try a different angle here. See if this one works a little better. With this round that I'm doing of the ground beef, I am going to try and let it drain for a lot longer in the colander. The last time that I did it, there's still a pretty good amount of fat that was left in it, and the jars that were in the Presto canner came out and they fared pretty well. There's a little bit of seepage on top here, but not a whole ton. But the ones that were in the Presto canner, not the Presto, the All-American, and I know this is because it was left for so long after, not left for so long, but it wouldn't come off the pressure, and I had to leave it in the canner for so long, and there were so many times that I had to bring it up to pressure, and then it would just lose pressure, and so it went up and down and fluctuated, and so I think that's why there was so much seepage on these ones from the All-American. And I'm not sure, it had to be because I had to leave it in there for so long, because the first time that I did the batch of, words escape me. When I did the first batch of the stew meat, it didn't really have a whole lot of seepage, and that could just be because there wasn't enough liquid in there, because it was canned without adding any liquid. So don't know why it is, but these jars are all getting washed today. I just didn't have time to do them yesterday, and so they're on the counter, and we're gonna take care of that tonight while we're waiting for all of this yumminess to cook. So in case you're wondering, my head is all cut off because my tripod is broken and I haven't had time to replace it. So we are stuck with the tripod in my handheld tripod propped up on top of the pot. It's about as high as I can get it. So while we're waiting for that to cook, I wanted to show you the results yesterday of all of the the liquid that we drained off of the beef yesterday. And you can see like the line, I don't know if you can see very well. Let's get to a better side. There we go. You can see all of this huge amount of fat. That's probably, I'd say, about an inch of fat on top. It's a pretty big size bowl. And then all this underneath, normally, I've had one time where it was liquid, but normally it's just a dense, gelled, just delicious bouillon inside of here. And you can set this aside. You can put it in ice cube trays into the freezer, or however you want to package them. You probably don't want to can them because that would ruin the gelatin in there and it wouldn't be thick anymore. So this is what you can do with it. And I will post a link to the video that I have that is showing how I render pan drippings, basically. I can't remember if I mentioned it in my previous video when I was actually cooking this for a canning video, but you don't need to cook the ground beef 100% like you would like browning it. You just need to get it cooked enough that it's not going to like stick together, because you're going to cook this for 75 minutes in the canner and it's going to get more than cooked through. Like, you don't need to worry about it, but you just cook it enough. I mean, really, you don't even have to cook it at all, but if you don't cook it, it'll just be like a giant like can of meatloaf. Ew. I'm going to try something a little bit different, and this bottom layer has had a good amount of time to actually drain off. So now all I'm going to do is pour it into a separate pot, and then pour this into the colander. So doing it that way, let's see if this gets us less fat in the jars. All right, so dinner for tonight is just gonna be some leftover beef that I have a bunch of spices in, and I'm just gonna go ahead and throw it in the pot. Oh yeah. Time to eat. We'll see you in a little bit. All right, so now we're gonna clean jars for the first time in the new house, in this wonderful sink that we have right now. So we got our entire load of the carnivore canning session all cleaned and ready to go. The next thing I just need to do is either wait for the lids to dry or dry them myself, mark on them, and then Robert will come and put them away. We have a deal going that I make all the food and do all of this, and then he figures out where to put it. I'm perfectly happy with that deal, because sometimes trying to find out where to put these things can be such a pain in the tuchus. So, on to the next thing. So our charred beef bones are ready to go into the into the stock pot. So now we just take them out of here. I have a feeling we have too many bones for one pot. I'm going to have to go and brave the outside and go to the garage. I should grab my bigger stock pot. I'll see you in a bit. We've returned with the pot. Now we gotta wash it. Okay. So first thing, you want to make sure you have the pot large enough to fit all your bones in it. Do what we need to do. All of this is flavor. Bunch of water. Alright, so this is what it looks like on the inside. Okay, so the next step in making the chicken bone broth is to separate the carcass here. We're going to separate the skin and the bones and put those in the bags with the giblets that we have. And then we're going to take the meat and I'm going to put it in here and just transfer it into like a, insert words here. And we're going to transfer that into a zip top bag and can it up this weekend. So let's get started. And with the chicken, you want to kind of make sure that you're letting it cool enough that you can touch it. But if you cool it off too much, it's really difficult to separate everything out. It's tough to like separate the meat, and you know, it's tough to get the skin off. It's just difficult. Why am I putting chicken in there? Okay, let's try that again. Really, the reason that I actually buy chickens in the whole form is just simply for the carcass. I like to have bone broth. I drink it nearly every day. I haven't done it for like the last few days, but generally overall, I cook it pretty much, or I drink about 2 cups a day, and that's why I buy the chicken. I don't actually buy the chicken for the sake of the chicken, but we do consume the chicken and we don't let it go to waste. So I just pulled these all out of the canner. And lucky for me, I completely forgot to hit the record button. So sorry about that. So I think that's going to wrap it up for me today on this weekday vlog. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little snippet of the things that I do every once in a while when I get off of work. This is definitely not a normal thing for me. I just had all that stuff that I had thought out, thinking that I could get through it this weekend, and I couldn't get to it, so I had to make sure that I got to it within the week to make sure that all of that wonderful meat didn't go to waste. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Bye.